Hi everyone, my name is Gautam Gupta and I want to welcome you all to my YouTube channel, Universal Fundamentals. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the upcoming Mars retrograde that'll be happening from October 30th of this year, 2022, till January 13th of 2023, and how it will be affecting you all based on your ascendant and moon sign. Now, the retrograde will begin at 1 degrees of Gemini, and it will go back all the way to 13 degrees of Taurus. Now, since August 10th of 2022, Mars has been in the sign of Taurus. And on October 15th, Mars will be entering the sign of Gemini, where it will stay for about 1 month until it re-enters Taurus on November 13th of 2022. Then Mars will turn direct at 13 degrees of Taurus on January 13th of 2023, and it will remain in Taurus until March 13th of 2023. Now, Mars is the planet that retrogrades once every 2 years, and it stays retrograde for approximately 60 to 80 days. Whenever Mars turns retrograde, it will tend to stay in the same sign for about 6 months. However, this time, there is going to be an exception as Mars is going to enter Gemini for about 1 month from October 15th, and it will re-enter back into Taurus after November 14th. So, what exactly happens during a Mars retrograde? Well, on the downside, Mars does represent anger, violence, and war. However, it also does represent our action, willpower, drive, and ambition. It represents our ability to get things done in a quick way. And whenever a planet goes retrograde, it is trying to send out a very clear message. The retrograde motion is saying to stop and take the time to reflect on your work before making any rash decisions. Mars retrograde usually tends to bring a lot of chaos, especially when there are unresolved issues that are agitating you. Emotions will be running wild and out of control, and therefore, this is not the time to be making any important decisions or taking actions that you may regret later. There can be some anger and frustration with completing day to day activities, and the best way to channel and alleviate some of this energy is through meditation or quiet contemplation. It is best to wait until Mars turns direct on January 13th of 2023 before proceeding forward. Now, when Mars enters the sign of Gemini on October 15th of 2022 and it retrogrades on October 30th, be aware that there will be some communication issues which can result in a lot of anger and frustration if this energy is not handled properly. Gemini is all about media and communication. So be careful about the things you're posting on social media. If anything you are posting is controversial, then be prepared to deal with the ramifications, especially if this transit is personally affecting your birth chart. Once Mars retrogrades back into Taurus on November 14th, 2022, be aware that there will be issues concerning the economy, money, and finances. Taurus is an earth sign and it deals with all the materialistic aspects of the world. You may even see real estate prices around various parts of the world decline even further. And the reason I say this is because the last time Mars was retrograde in Taurus was in the year 2008 when we had our last Great Recession. And during that time, as we all know, real estate prices plummeted, especially in the US. So, if you are looking to buy into real estate, I do recommend waiting until this end of the year or early next year before making the final deal. Now, before I begin talking about the Mars retrograde for each ascendant and moon sign, I do want to invite everyone to please check out my website, universal-fundamentals.com, where you can sign up for my free monthly newsletter and you'll get it delivered straight to your email address. You will also learn more about me and what I do as a Vedic astrologer. And if you happen to find this video helpful and useful, then please give it a thumbs up by hitting the like button. Doing so will really help me out with the YouTube algorithm, which will allow other users like you to locate this video. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and make sure to hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss out on any of these similar YouTube videos that I will be uploading in the future. I also want to let everyone know that I practice sidereal Vedic astrology and not Western tropical astrology. So with that being said, let's begin with talking about this Mars retrograde and how it will affect all 12 ascendants and moon signs. So as you can see on the screen, if your ascendant or moon sign is in Aries, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your third house, Gemini, on October 30th, 2022. The third house represents social media, communication, willpower, drive, ambition, as well as younger siblings. Now, Aries ascendant people tend to be very self-expressive and tend to be go-getters. However, with this Mars retrograde in the third house of Gemini, you guys really need to be careful in how you are expressing yourself in either verbal or written forms of communication. Because whatever you say during this month will come back to you and can be used against you negatively if you are not careful. If you have younger siblings or even neighbors, then you may find yourself having more quarrels and contentions with them. It is best to exercise patience and calmness during this month and save any sensitive topics for a later date. Now, once Mars retrogrades back into your second house of Taurus, please pay attention to what you are saying and, more importantly, how you are saying it, especially when you're around family members. You may come across insensitive and abrasive, and this may end up causing hostility around your immediate environment, which we want to avoid during this time. Also, please be careful with any spending or financial issues when Mars retrogrades back into Taurus. You may find that your outflow of cash is greater than your inflow of cash if you are not managing your spending carefully. Now, if your ascendant or moon sign is in Taurus, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your second house of Gemini on October 30th. The second house is all about your speech, money, and family. Even more so than the Aries rising, you have to be extremely careful about the way you communicate to your family and the people surrounding you. And this is because Gemini is all about communication. And because Mars rules the 12th house of expenses and losses for a Taurus rising, you also have to be very careful with your spending. In fact, you may find yourself having an unexpected expense that can take a toll on your bank account. So it is important that you conserve your cash as much as possible. Don't make any unnecessary purchases during this time. When Mars retrogrades back into your first house of Taurus, please be careful in the area of business partnerships and relationships. Avoid making rash decisions when it comes to signing partnership agreements or making any important changes in your marriage and relationships. If you find yourself having arguments or heated conversations with them, take a step back and use this time for some quiet contemplation. Once this retrograde energy officially passes, regroup and reassess the situation for a better decision making. Now, if your ascendant or moon sign is in Gemini, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your first house on October 30th. Now, for a Gemini rising, Mars rules the 6th and 11th house. If you are working and have coworkers, be aware and be cautious about them. Don't gossip or give out any information to your coworkers that can be used against you. It is very possible that they are jealous of you because you are coming out top in your career. And try to maintain a cordial and mutual relationship at the very least if you are unable to get along with them. And don't worry too much about the jealousy of your coworkers. And in a way, it is kind of a good thing because you are doing something right with your life. Also, This is a time where you need to be very cautious as you can be accident prone during this time. Remember, the sixth house does deal with accidents, and the ruler of the sixth, being in the first, can make you very prone to accidents. So be careful when you're traveling or playing any aggressive sport. And also, if possible, try to lay low until this transit passes. Now, when Mars retrogrades back into your 12th house of Taurus, you are going to be faced with any unresolved issues from your past that have not been fully addressed yet. This is going to be an opportunity for you to look hard within and make peace with the given situation. If you make peace with what has happened in your past, then I promise you that your life, career, and prosperity will skyrocket once this transit has passed. You may also find yourself having trouble sleeping at night, so please take care of your health and well being during this transit. Also, during this entire Mars retrograde transit, please take care of your valuable belongings. Make sure they're locked up or stored securely, and please avoid being alone in dark places during this transit. Now, if your ascendant or moon sign is in Cancer, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your 12th house of Gemini. You may have trouble sleeping from that 1 month period while Mars is in Gemini because the 12th house does rule our sleep and bed pleasures. You may have some issues with your bosses and career overall, as the ruler of the 10th is placed in the 12th house via transit. And this may cause temptations to make changes around your work environment. However, you shouldn't make any major decisions regarding your career during this transit, because this will be very temporary and things should get better once Mars re enters Taurus in November. And when it does re-enter Taurus, it's gonna be in your 11th house. And when it re-enters your 11th house, you will be revisiting any unresolved issues that you have with a friend or an older sibling, as the 11th house does rule your older siblings and friendship network circles. This will be an excellent opportunity to heal any negative relationships with them so you can find the closure needed to move forward. You will also be revisiting the ways you make your money, and there could be some changes that you end up making regarding your investments. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Leo, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your 11th house of Gemini. During this transit, just be mindful with the way you are communicating with your older sibling or a friend, because your words or your tone may get misunderstood, and people may perceive you to be rude and condescending if you don't choose your words wisely. When Mars does retrograde back into Taurus, you may find yourself reevaluating certain aspects of your career and work. So don't make any drastic or major changes during this retrograde transit. I would wait until Mars turns direct in January before making big changes. However, this will be a very powerful transit for Leo risings or moons, as you will be noticed and recognized in a positive way. However, just remember that you are respecting the boundaries around you and you're not overstepping your boss if you have one. Mars is one of the best planets for a Leo rising or moon, as it is considered a yogic planet. And because this is transiting back and forth between your 11th and 10th house, this Mars retrograde should not be as extreme for a Leo rising. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Virgo, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your 10th house of Gemini. So while you may be focusing on your career very nicely, be sure to be mindful in how you are communicating with your bosses and superiors. Your communication style may come across very aggressive and dominating, which makes you look like you're trying to take over your boss. And this can come across a bit threatening to those around you. So be careful in how you approach your work matters. Now, when Mars retrogrades back into Taurus, which will be in your ninth house, You may find yourself revisiting issues concerning your father, whether he is still around or not. Some of these issues may not be so pleasant, and this is giving you an opportunity to heal through these issues so you can move forward with your life. Take this opportunity to go within and figure out these issues so you don't attract similar problems in the future. Once you have made peace with the situation regarding your father, you will attract so many better things in your life. And also, this is not the time to make any long distance travels, as you can face many delays and setbacks. Because Mars rules the eighth house for a Virgo rising or moon, there can be some unexpected transformations regarding a long distance trip that could cause an upset. And or there could be an unexpected transformation regarding the father. So just take note of this with the upcoming Mars retrograde if you are a Virgo ascendant or moon. Now, if your ascendant or moon sign is in Libra, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your ninth house of Gemini. During this transit, just be aware of how you are communicating with your father. You may find yourself having more arguments and disagreements with the father, and it is important not to say anything that you may regret later. This is also a time where I wouldn't plan any long distance trips, as there can be some delays and frustrations around the planning or during the actual commute on the trip. Now, when Mars retrogrades back into your eighth house, this is a time where you need to exercise the utmost caution. The eighth house does deal with scandals, so anything that you've been hiding can most definitely be revealed in a not so pleasant way. So it is important that you remain on your best behavior, as anything you have been hiding can be used against you. So don't do anything illegal during this transit. Eighth house also deals with accidents, so please be careful when you are driving or operating any machinery that is dangerous. Also, if you are expecting any inheritance or unearned wealth to come to you, expect some temporary setbacks or delays, especially when Mars is retrograde in your eighth house. On the upside, however, the eighth house does deal with research and getting to the core and bottom of things. Your research skills and abilities will be at an all-time high, and if there are answers you are seeking, your intuition and inner knowingness will give you the answers and closure you need. Now, if your ascendant or moon sign is in Scorpio, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your eighth house of Gemini, which does represent scandals, accidents, and of course, research. So, this isn't the best time to get involved in any scandalous activities or do anything that's against the law. This is the best time to lay low and engage in deep research on subjects that really interest you. Also, please be careful while driving or operating any heavy machinery which can make you accident prone. Take extra care of those things while transiting Mars is in the eighth house. Now, when retrograde Mars re-enters Taurus, this will be a time where you need to take caution in the areas of your relationships and business partnerships. It is important that you avoid major arguments or heated discussions that can lead to something you may regret later. If both parties are not in agreement, it is best to simply wait until this transit passes before making any major decisions regarding relationships. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Sagittarius, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your seventh house of Gemini, which represents business partnerships, relationships, and spouse. And during this time, please exercise caution in how you are communicating with these people. You may find yourself being very argumentative, combative, and aggressive with your partners, so it is important to think things through before communicating any issues. You may also find that your partners are also being aggressive and combative as this transit is occurring in your seventh house. Therefore, if emotions are running high, it is best to wait until Mars goes back into Taurus before having any important discussions that are heated or sensitive. Now, when Mars does retrograde back into your sixth house of Taurus, You will be revisiting any health issues that have not been addressed. So please take care of your health during this time, as this retrograde energy can be a bit aggressive to your health. However, with a proper diet or exercise routine, these aggressive effects will be mitigated nicely. Also, when Mars retrogrades back into Taurus, please exercise caution around your coworkers, as you may find yourself having arguments and heated discussions with them. It is important to lay low, as anything you do or say can be used against you. However, if you just lay low and just focus on your work, you will come out of this transit just fine. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Capricorn, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your sixth house of Gemini, which represents your health, everyday routine, as well as your coworkers. And during this transit, try to avoid having aggressive and argumentative debates with your coworkers, because you may find yourself aggravated by some of your coworkers. So it is important just to lay low and try to be as independent as possible with your job. Also, one important thing, if you plan on buying a home during this time, it is best that you wait until Mars re enters Taurus, because there could be some temporary delays or upsets regarding the real estate deal you're interested in. So it is best to wait it out until you have all the necessary information before making a final decision. Now, once Mars re enters Taurus on November 14th, you will be more focused on your investments, children, as well as any entrepreneurial activities. You may find that you need to change the way you invest your money during this time. And it is quite possible that you may sell some of your investments and start looking into real estate at this time. Just make sure you do your research and due diligence before shifting your investments. You may also find yourself revisiting some of your creative projects that you have done in the past, and it's very possible that you will make changes to those projects. This is also a time where your children are going to need some extra attention from you if you have any children. So make sure they're getting the proper guidance that they need so that you are not negatively affected by this. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Aquarius, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your fifth house of Gemini, which is all about investments, children, and entrepreneurial activities. And during this time, it is not the best time to make any risky investments or start a new business. You should probably take stock of what you currently have in terms of your investments and business and see what you can do to improve your situation rather than expand or start something new. Also, keep an eye out for your children during this time, as they may need more of your attention than usual. Now, when Mars retrogrades back into Taurus in November, which will be in your fourth house, you may have some issues around your home that need your attention. You may be working on some home improvement projects that are not going as planned. So don't make any quick decisions regarding your property right now. It is best to wait until the retrograde period passes before making any big changes. Also, if you are trying to sell your property or move to a different place, you may find some obstacles and setbacks during this Mars retrograde transit. And also take care of your car if you have one as well during this Mars retrograde, and make sure to get it serviced or checked out if needed. However, don't worry too much about this, as this transit will pass after the retrograde period is over. Also, if your mother is still around and close by, please keep an eye out for her, because she could be needing your help at this time. So avoid any major arguments or heated discussions with your mom during this time. Now, lastly, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Pisces, then this means that Mars will first retrograde in your fourth house of Gemini, which represents your mother and home. And during this time, try to avoid having intense conversations with your mother, as this could escalate into something you might regret later. Also, avoid making any major property or vehicle changes during this transit, as there could be an unexpected setback if you end up doing so. When Mars retrogrades back into your third house of Taurus, you may find yourself having some contentious arguments with your siblings or neighbors. So try to keep a healthy distance from them during this time if you guys cannot find a common ground to agree with. Also, make sure you are appropriately communicating your thoughts and ideas as you may be feeling a bit agitated during this time. So avoid making over the top, controversial statements, especially in a social media forum, as this might be used against you later. This is a great time, however, for using your energy in the outdoors as you will be feeling very energetic. Take this time to play your favorite sport or take up your favorite physical activity. Just be a little bit cautious, however, and be careful since Mars is retrograde. So, you guys, this is what I wanted to cover regarding the Mars retrograde in Gemini and Taurus. It will be coming up from October 30th, 2022, all the way through January 13th, 2023. I hope you guys got something out of this. And once again, if you found this video to be helpful or useful, then please give it a thumbs up by hitting the like button. You guys will really help me out with the YouTube algorithm so this video can reach a vast audience. And if you guys are new to my channel and would like to see similar videos like this in the future, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell notification. And lastly, if you would like to know more about me and what I do as a Vedic astrologer, then please check out my website, which is universal-fundamentals.com. Thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.